Good day. Well, that ivy was really dead. There's still a branch in there just here that I need to cut back further, and then there's other ivy at the back that you can't see that also needs cutting back. The large shrub that it was growing on has died and rotted away, and there was nothing to bear the weight of the ivy anymore other than the shed. So yeah, so what this allows me to do, oh hello Mr. Robin, is basically get in here and do a little bit of tidying up, which is much needed at the back area here. As you can see, some of this is, well, most of this pile here at the side of the shed is mine, though some of it is also my plot neighbours, like this rotten fleece here, which was put there for safekeeping I think about 18 months ago and has just basically deteriorated. This is a huge elderflower here, which I know that my plot neighbour wants to keep because she's training it. But yeah, at least this cutting that ivy back, the dead ivy back, has given me access in here to start sorting out this area, which I will do. Look at that little robin. Can you see him down here? Down there. Little Robbie. Hello little robin. And the parakeets are saying that they're around here as well. So anyway, yes, there's stuff to throw away here. I can see. I'm not sure if I've got a black bag. Obviously any of the wires of this fleece frame I will keep, but if the fleece is gone, there's no point in keeping that. That can go into a black bag and go into general rubbish. Yeah. Right, first though, to get all the bits that I have cut off to the dead hedge. That's that area of the dead hedge really beginning to take shape now. If you wanted to come around the corner here, that would be really quite dangerous because the river comes in, tucks itself in there. So yeah, that dead hedge is doing well, though there are just a few people who use this dead hedge now, because as you may have seen when I came back, it's a bit you have to be careful with your footing. But look at that, look, I've just noticed, I've been coming backwards and forwards 5 or 6 times and I've just noticed fox. Oh, lovely, 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 lovely. So even though we're barricading this area off so that human beings can't get in, clearly the fox is quite happy with what we're doing, because there's a little foxhole, just like, I'm not sure if you can see it, there's one up here, just up there. That's great. Whilst I'm coming back, I've noticed that they've done lots of pollarding of those trees on the other side of the river. Look, that's where they put all the wood chip. Look at that wood chip up there. Ooh, lots and lots of wood chip. Yeah, but yeah, that's good. So if we come, let me see if I can come over here and you pick it up. Can you see how this one was pollarded and has come up from here? That's what will happen to those three as well. This one I think did actually break off and cross, not across the river, but sort of onto the river quite a bit. But yeah, happy trees. A job done that I've been meaning to do for a couple of weeks at least. Maybe a month. And now I can clear up that area around the 1940 shed. I can get into the 1940 shed and I can put the compost in bags that I actually have at the back of the polytunnel. I can put those into the 1940 shed, so I'll be doing that a bit later this week. It has actually started raining. It's not rained so far today. It's a bit damp this morning. It did say, oh, loads and loads of gulls circling in the thermals, or in the wind, I suppose. What was I saying? I get so distracted. I really do get so distracted. It's ridiculous, but lovely at the same time. Yeah, so I'll put those bags into, I'll tidy up the 1940 shed and put things into there, which will give a bit more room in the polytunnel, because I do want to use the back of the polytunnel this year. I'm going to have lettuce and a few other things in the main bed, but at the back I'm going to be growing something in the black tubs that we've got that will enjoy putting their roots down through the holes in the black tubs into the soil below. So yeah, I need to keep that area clear. Right, I'm going to leave it here for today's segment of A Week at the Plot, and I'll see you in a day or so. What is it today? Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. Another feeling of deja vu. I didn't know this was coming. This is half a load rather than the full load, just from a few streets away. But most of this is going to be for individual plot holders to use for their compost bins or whatever they wish to use it for, rather than paths. The paths are well covered. You can see down there that it's starting to be worn in, which is great. But there's two areas that do need a bit of wood chip, and we've got a work party, a work social as we call them now, on Saturday morning. So I'm just going to fill 2 wheelbarrows with this wood chip, and then on Saturday 1 or 2 people can have a small job of shoveling 2 wheelbarrows of wood chip onto a path. And then I'll post, once I filled the 2 wheelbarrows and taken them to my plot, I'll post this as a photo on our WhatsApp group and let people know that they can come and get their own wood chip, which is grand. 2 fullish wheelbarrows ready for deployment on Saturday at our work social. Just sort of down to the end of the path there and a bit on the left, there's an area that missed having wood chip put on it at our last work social. So yeah, that's where these 2 wheelbarrows of wood chip will end up. I've just started tidying this area. Oh, the robin's back. Can you see him in there? Look, he's been bobbing around. I've taken the fleece and I've taken all of the metal hoops off. You can see them here. And the fleece itself was decrepit, so it's gone into here. Various other bits and pieces have come out of here and gone into the bag. the robin is rather interested in what's going on. And this is the 1940 shed. I think that's focused now, yeah. I think Mr. Fox has been in here, or possibly when we were broken into a few months ago, maybe somebody gave this a bit of a turf. I can see broken glass on the floor over there, broken cups. So yeah, I'm gonna sort that out another day. The door doesn't sort of shut properly. It must have either this is a huge piece of slate here. Either that has come up from root growth of shrubs around it, or this has sunk. I think we can see that maybe that has sunk down a bit. Anyway, I've got that to clear. Yeah. And this is the big elderflower that our neighbours are training over to theirs. I mean, I love elderflower. I mean, I love the flowers of elderflower. I still need to get to the back and get this big bit of ivy out, but I'll do that another day. Yeah, do that another day. I just want to make sure that, oh yeah, and look at this, look, all those bits of plastic, can you see that? I'll have to get a dustpan and brush to try and sweep that up. Oh, anyway, I'm tidying. Right, I'm going to leave it there for today's segment of A Week at the Plot. It's, Wednesday. I think it's around 4:45, something like that. I've done about 3/4 of an hour down here, and I'm just going to do a bit more picking up of rubbish. See, I can see there's some rubbish blown there, over there. That needs to be picked up. And other bits of tidying, so I'm just going to get on and do that, which I don't really think you need to watch me do. Right, I will see you again soon. Quite a brief one today, but I'm getting stuff done. Bye. Good day. It's Sunday morning. It's a bit damp down here. I have just given the broad beans in the greenhouse that were sown in modules last week a little bit of extra water. Clearly the seeds are swelling and taking up moisture from the modules, from the compost in the modules, and also they're in the greenhouse, so there'll be some evaporation. So I thought they needed a little bit of water, so they've had some. And now I'm looking at this rather weedy bed of raspberries, autumn fruiting raspberries at the front, and then 4 josterberries at the back. These are the josterberries over here. So they are bush forming, and these are obviously stalks. So autumn fruiting raspberries you cut right down to the ground in January, February, this time of year, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Unlike summer fruiting raspberries, where you need to take down the canes that flowered and fruited last year and leave the new growth. So yeah, I'm just going to get in here now and take down these canes of these autumn fruiting raspberries to the ground. So that's that very brief job done. Clearly this bed needs a really good weed. I think this is actually in a better state than it usually is at this time of year. I'm not sure if you can see over here, But there's a blackberry here that keeps on growing and coming in, and just over there as well, so I'm going to take those out. But I'm not going to do this weeding today. The ground is a little bit sodden, so I will leave that for another day. These here, these stalks from the autumn fruiting raspberries, are going to go onto our dead hedge. And these josterberries, I'm going to give those a prune next week, because I'd like to make some cuttings from some of them. So they're staying as they are for the moment, though they do need a good prune. We'll do that next week. It's been an odd week this week. I've got some things done. I've got the ivy cleared, which I'm really pleased about. And I've got quite a lot of detritus that has blown onto the plot, picked up and put into our general waste or into recycling. And I've just cut those autumn fruiting raspberries back, which is great. But it doesn't feel as though I'm going to be doing a huge amount this week. I'm still getting used to Richard being at home, and because that has there's different needs now, and we're sort of doing some things together that we might have not done or we done on our own. So there's sort of that type of scheduling. This afternoon I'm going to have my hair cut, and then I have to have a bath. So it's a brief visit today. But what I did want to get in is the Jersey Royals International Kidney we were given by a fellow plotter the week before last. They're going to go into the raised bed over here, which is the same size as the raised bed in front of me. In front of me will be carrots and parsnips, and over there will be potatoes. We've still got a couple of chicory growing in there, and also some beetroot growing in the whole bed. But there's room at the end just to dig a hole a foot or so deep and get these down into. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I've looked at the weather over the next 6 weeks on AccuWeather, and it looks as though we've got maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 days where we go below freezing at night in our area. Then once we get into March, the nighttime temperatures are forecast to be sort of 1 degree to 4 degree. So that's not hitting freezing. Because this is an open space, it could get a little colder down here. But I think that means that as long as I've got some fleece to protect any growth on the potatoes, which of course I will be earthing up with further compost anyway, they shouldn't be bitten by frost. So that's what I'm hoping for. And of course we've got other potatoes coming, some of which are going to go into the bed behind me here, the ceanothus bed as I call it, and the others will go into the bed with these Jersey Royals International Kidneys. So yeah, because by then we'll have taken out all the beetroot, and hopefully the chicory will have either grown on, or if it hasn't, we'll have just had it as a little salad. There is a bit of weeding that is needed in that bed I'm going to be planting into now, so I'm just going to go and do that, and then I will see you there with these International Kidneys / Jersey Royals. Seed potatoes, of course. I've spaced the 6 seed potatoes out. In fact, I'm going to move those a little bit further that way, and those a little bit further that way. It's about a foot between them, and I'm just going to do a really pretty deep hole, about a foot deep. Well, it's surprisingly not cold down there, which is of course what we want. That's going in, cover it up. Hole about a foot deep, in that goes, cover it up. I'm just going to get on with the rest of those now. That's those 6 seed potatoes in, new potatoes. The ground didn't feel cold when I got sort of down below. On the surface when I was doing the weeding, it was quite cold, not frozen by any means, though there is ice around. It was not cold at a foot deep. So I'm happy that those will be okay over the coming weeks, even if we get down to 0. We did get down to 0 overnight last night. There was a bit of a frost and there is ice on water at the plot. Clearly that soil is still pliable, even having gone down to 0. So yeah, that bulk of soil is not going to go down to 0 in the coming weeks where the seed potato is. So I'm quite happy about that. And as I say, I will then fleece them when they do start growing and keep on topping them up with further compost as well. So yeah, I'm pleased to have got that job done. I'm seeing quite a few people on socials and things sowing seeds now. We're going to be doing a bit of seed sowing in the greenhouse in the next week or so, but please don't rush to your propagators unless you have got a greenhouse which can be heated for the plants which you are getting to germinate now from seed to go into when they're ready to go in. Because even though the long-term weather forecast says that by the end of March we're going to be, or had 4 weeks above freezing at night, who knows whether another beast from the east will pile in. And if we've got leaves above ground that are susceptible to frost, they will be bitten. So, you know, do be careful. It's great to get an early start, but if you've got nowhere to put those seedlings and plants when they're ready to be pricked out and potted up and potted on and put out, if the weather's not going to be right for when they're being put out, do have a second thought about whether you want to sow them now. If you've got a greenhouse which can be heated and that gives you a few more weeks, then of course that's something. And if you want to start tomatoes now that early, then, you know, up to you. Peppers and aubergines do need a longer growing season. So if you're going to be growing peppers or aubergines this year, do get the seeds in. In fact, you may have already done them by now for aubergines. Right, that's it for this week's A Week at the Plot. It doesn't feel very much. It really doesn't. I've done quite a lot of clearing on the plot. I've done quite a bit of weeding. I've obviously done the ivy, but it feels as though I haven't had a full week here this week. And I think that is actually true. I don't think I've been down here as much as I usually am. But there are more jobs to do next week. And there are more things that I want to do next week, including the jostaberry cuttings, which I'm going to be doing. So I will see you then next week for further segment of A Week at the Plot on Planet Vegetaria, and another full upload on YouTube on the Monday. And of course, if you're a coffee member, you get the A Week at the Plot a day earlier than everybody else. So yeah. Anyway, any comments, any questions, please do leave them down below. Any suggestions, of course, do that as well. And I will see you very soon in a few days on PV. In the meantime, whatever is happening in your garden, your growing space or your allotment, take time out to plan what you are going to be doing this year. I know as gardeners and growers and allotmenteers, we often change our plans, but to have a plan of what you know is going to happen, at least a loose plan, allows you to change that plan as you go along when situations occur. Right, see you next week. Happy growing. Bye.